What is up, guys? Welcome back to AI on Crypto. Today we're talking about Illuvium, and we're getting ready for the upcoming Illuvium land sale. The Illuvium land game is called Illuvium 0, and it is the very foundation of which the Illuvium ecosystem will be built upon. Owners of Illuvium land from the Illuvium 0 ecosystem will truly be owners in the Illuvium world, as these Illuvium land plots are going to generate the fuel players need to operate at a high level on the game. It's going to be stuff players are going to need to give their characters the ability to travel around the world of Illuvium, finding those alluvials for them to battle or sell. There's a lot of big perks to owning land, including profit share and other things, and it's a very big event. And the first Illuvium land sale for Illuvium 0 is actually only a week away, happening on June 2nd. Today, there's been a minor update on one of the land types for the Illuvium ecosystem. There are 7 different types of land, and we're going to get into this update here on the video right now. This is AI on Crypto. On this channel, we talk about cryptocurrency prices and trends, altcoin gems, all the things on the blockchain that fill our bags to the max, and we stay far away from Wreck City. We make daily cryptocurrency content covering NFTs, planar and blockchain gaming, metaverse, DeFi, and more. So if you're looking for that kind of content, please subscribe to the channel and tap that little bell so you don't miss any future content. Now remember, anything related to NFTs, planar and gaming, cryptocurrency, it's all very risky stuff. This is real money at stake. Make sure you do your own research and talk to a professional financial advisor before making any major decisions. All right, guys, so the world of Illuvium is super, super exciting. I happen to think that it has a really good chance of being a top 3 game long term, and it could be the greatest planar game that is ever made. Of course, we don't know. There's some big competition in the works. You got Mirandus by Gala Games, which is being worked on frenetically. We've got Star Atlas. We've got other games in the works, but I think Illuvium is the closest, and it embraces the decentralized nature of cryptocurrency. So there's a lot of ways to earn money from this game. I love the token holder aspect. So if the native token of Illuvium is the ILV token. If you hold this token and are staking it, it gives you voting rights on the ecosystem, but it also gives you profit share. So basically, guys, all of these alluvials, all of these in-game items, they're all going to be bought and sold on the secondary market, and there's going to be a fee on each sell that goes into the Illuvium purse. And this is going to go into the Illuvium wallet until it reaches a certain level, and then smart contracts are automatically going to kick a mechanism that distributes to all the stakeholders. Those stakeholders will be the holders and stakers of the Illuvium token. I think there's a small percentage that goes to an operating expense wallet, and then the other percentage will be the 5% that does go to the land owners. So you can actually earn Ethereum in this way, because once people begin playing the game, they're going to have to get their Ethereum. They're going to wrap it by sending it over to the Immutable X exchange so that they can do stuff without paying gas fee. And you're actually going to be buying Illuviums and the in-game items you need to explore the game with Ethereum. So the profit share that is paid out to the landowners and the ILV token holders that are staked is actually going to be Ethereum, which is why I really love this protocol. It's just like LooksRare. I love the decentralized NFT marketplace LooksRare because it's one of the only APY paying protocols that actually pays its reward in Ethereum, because if you own and stake the LooksRare token, you actually get a percentage of all Ethereum earned on that protocol in a decentralized way. It's not touched by humans. It's all set up via smart contract. And Illuvium is the same way. That is why I think it is so exciting, because when you look at some of the really big NFT planar game ecosystems that has failed up to this point, and even though Axie Infinity was a breakout success, I mean, obviously it paved the way it's really hard to call Axie Infinity a failure just because they did become a multi-billion-dollar entity from nothing with multiple coins, SLP, AXS, and Ronin all having multi-billion-dollar market caps at their peak. It's mind-boggling to even consider calling Axie Infinity a failure. But there has been major flaws in the ecosystem. Obviously, we're in a bear market and everything is down. But Axie Infinity was down before the bear market really kicked in. And some flaws in the ecosystem, namely rampant inflation, begin to you started to see that filtering in through the cracks. Then they brought out their Ronin chain and they said they were going to be a big gaming publisher like Gala Games. Yet when you look at the Gala Games ecosystem, they have about 12 games in development. And Sky Mavis, despite having the Ronin blockchain, has not announced a single game that they have signed and are actually going to publish. But outside of that, guys, just the in-game mechanism. So you can earn SLP while playing Axie Infinity, which is the in-game token. But SLP is only valuable if it is so valuable that the players of the game want it for very specific reasons. And what happened was the player base got so big, the amount of Axie breeders got so plentiful that the supply of SLP, the supply of Axies, the actual little creature NFTs you play the game with, it all got to the point where it way exceeds demand, and now Axies are only $7 a piece. SLP is, less than a penny, and a lot of the player base is definitely leaving the Axie Infinity ecosystem, and they're losing faith in it. Now, I'm not going to say Sky Mavis can't turn it around, but Axie Infinity looks like a failure because who wants SLP? Who wants AXS, right? At the end of the day, everybody wants Ethereum. I feel totally confident that Ethereum is going to be one of the most important blockchains in the world 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, and beyond. So any protocol that gives me a share of earned Ethereum, I am interested in. And right now, the only two that I know of is the decentralized NFT marketplace LooksRare.org, as well as now Illuvium. Now, Illuvium is not out yet, but it is, just like LooksRare, a protocol that is going to distribute Ethereum rewards to the stakeholders. And again, who are the stakeholders? That's going to be the landowners and the holders of the ILV native token that have it staked in the protocol. And it is because of this Ethereum sharing that I think it has long-term value, because the fact that the ILV token, which will be the native token, the fact that owning and holding that will actually give you access to a passive stream of income in the form of Ethereum would theoretically make the ILV token have a lot of inherent value. Now, there is no guarantees. There's nothing guaranteed in this world, because in order for that to be lucrative, there has to be a lot of people playing. There has to be a lot of people spending their Ethereum, buying the alluvials, which are the creatures you capture in the game, as well as buying fuel from the landowners and other items in the in-game store so that they can go about and capture all of the alluvials. That has to be happening in order for this protocol to be paying out any quantity of Ethereum that is relevant to the stakeholders. So that is the stipulation. Those are the keys that we have to have happen in order for the Illuvium ecosystem to be profitable for these stakeholders. So a lot of that is going to have to do with how fun this game is. What is the quality of this game? Can it become a social experience? Can it become a cultural phenomenon? And can it have a more long-term sustainable outcome than Axie Infinity? Even Townstar by Gala Games is struggling to make that town token valuable. But all right, guys, let's get to the next phase of this video. I just wanted you guys to know that, hey, the Illuvium land sale is important because this is one of the top 3 prospects in all of Play to Earn Gaming, and it is right around the corner, June 2nd. Now, there's going to be 7 regions of Illuvium. The Taga Boreal, the Abyssal Basin, the Brightland Steppes, the Crimson Waste, the Halcyon Sea, the Crystal Shores, and the Shard Bluff Labyrinth. All right, guys, the update that we're going to be looking at today is about the Abyssal Basin. So that's one of the 7 lands that we are going to be taking an in-depth look at today. All right, guys, so on June 2nd, when the land sale goes down, it's going to be a Dutch auction. There's going to be 5 tiers of land, with the biggest tiered land, the tier 5 land, is not going to be Dutch auction. That's going to be English auction, but tier 4 and down are going to be Dutch auction style sales. And that means that every 30 minutes, the items are going to get cheaper. And it's kind of a game of chance, because if you really want the land, you have to ask yourself, am I going to wait and try to get it cheaper, but risk it selling out? Or am I just going to go ahead and buy it at the price it is now and lock that land in? So that's going to be what is on a lot of people's mind. But let me tell you guys, I have been following Illuvium for a long, long time. That being said, I'm very excited at the prospect of being an Illuvium land owner. But that being said, I'm trying to measure and control my emotions, because right now, sentiment is down on play and earn gaming. Because of that, there might be an opportunity to let this Dutch auction play out a little bit and get some top tier lands cheaper than I ever would have thought possible, especially with there being this bear market that we're in as we speak. All right, guys, so that's my strategy. I am not going to FOMO in and try to get land and try to lock in land on the very first sell. I'm going to go ahead and assume that it's not going to sell out right away, just because the sentiment is so low right now and we are in this bear market. Worst case scenario, if it does sell out quickly, then I'm just going to buy it really fast on the secondary markets. But I'm going to try and do it real prudently and not overspend, and maybe try to get a tier 3 land when all I thought I could have got maybe a couple months ago would be 1 or 2 tier 2s. All right, guys, so now let's take a look at this region, the Abyssal Basin. So the Abyssal Basin is one of 7 lands that are going to make up Illuvium 0. Whenever you do mint the land from the Illuvium store, it will be randomly generated and you will not know which region you're going to get. The Abyssal Basin is made up of various areas, and we'll go over the breakdown right now. First, you have the Traveler's Gorge. This is marked by an obelisk which stands inside of a wet marshland. The light shines westward, a tunnel cut through a thick forest. The energy of the obelisk has carved a wide path. The overhang is yet to grow back as it fearful of reprise. Surrounding the obelisk is a soaking wet grassland that leads into the different areas of the region. As with all regions, the obelisk feels purposefully placed at the region's center. To the south, the grassland fades into quicksand and swamp. To the north, a dense forest wall with giant root-like bridges overhead guides travelers into the darkness of Abyssal Grove. Opposite the gorge is the entrance to the last ripples. Then you have the Slough, this beautiful part of the Abyssal Basin with massive mushroom caps. The southeast is Slough, an unforgiving swamp where giant Titanicus mushrooms overwhelm the horizon. The ground is thick mud with patches of swamp grass and knee-deep streams. The air sulfuric due to gas bubbling to the surface from the core. Swamp flowers dotting dry patches of topsoil radiate faint light, bright enough to see through the fog. Titanicus mushrooms grow wide before breaching the surface and erupting from the swamp. They upheave the soil as they reach into the sky, carrying smaller flora. An unsettling sight, these mushrooms share nutrients through gigantic root systems. Only found alive in Slough, they cannot sustain themselves in other regions and rarely grow elsewhere. Giant collapsed husks bordering bluewood form a natural bridge over the abyssal drift, moss-filled rapids that course the region's breadth. Then you have the beautiful Bluewood. This is the southwest area of the Abyssal Basin. Owes its name to the eponymous Bluewood giant. These towering hardwoods constantly absorb and expel water, causing extreme humidity that tints the atmosphere blue. Knee-deep streams and small rivers divide the giant trees. Many plants and flowers grow on the drier patches of land, surrounded by tepid water. The ground is unusually colorful, containing an assortment of hues dispersed in the soil, not unlike the rainbow bark trees of the north. At night, the soil is fluorescent, illuminating land, and the water is turning blue wood into green wood. Then you have the last ripples. This is north of Bluewood, and they are a bridge between Bluewood and the Abyssal Grove. Last ripples is not but a boneyard for the Leviathan. Bones fossilized in a bygone era create a scaffolding for plants to grow on, over, and underneath. The countless overgrown rib cages and skulls create natural islands bridging the deep water to the more swampy, open area of Bluewood. To the north, near the Abyssal Grove, border the trees, complex root systems, and they disappear as the water deepens. And now we move in to the Abyssal Grove, which is north of the obelisk in the region's most extensive area. A thick, dense, mangrove-like forest spans the region's entire width. Due to the lack of sunlight, the ground and water have a faint bioluminescence similar to the effect of Bluewood. Two paths extend from the obelisk, cutting through the forest, leading to Taiga Boreal and Sanctum Mesa. The trees of the Abyssal Grove are endless. Complex root systems intertwine, creating islands and surfaces for other plants to grow. Giant nipa palms grow in several places in the forest, so immense they form an impenetrable forest canopy. Sunlight peeks through, imitating the stars. The native plants find ways to harness the radiation from the planet's core, countering the lack of sunlight. Almost every tree, flower, and bush creates light that others absorb. The forest is deadly and poisonous, but beautiful. The bark of the rainbow trees is multicolored, with fungi so enormous it grows into platforms one could stand on. Remains litter the ground here. Foot travel is nigh possible. Glowing abyssal pumpkins fill some forest patches. An odd plant that grows like a fungal mesh, spanning kilometers. Their fruit features translucent, magnetous skin and a glowing inner core that contrasts the blue-green environment. Caldrix eld is an ancient tree with a hollow root structure near the eastern border. It resembles a giant cave entrance from the outside, drawing you in. However, descending through the root system leads to a flooded root system and an immediate dead end. The Abyssal Grove ends at sea in the north, where dark clouds band together to form an impressive storm front. Lightning shoots across the horizon, thunder close behind, contrasting the open, clear sky above the Abyssal Basin. The obelisk undoubtedly plays a part in this diverse weather system. And that is the update on the Abyssal Basin. And I think that's the very first kind of in-depth look at one of the regions that we have seen. So the Abyssal Basin is going to be one of the 7 land types. Very, very cool. And if you actually go to the website and you hover over them, it will show you a little bit about each one. Now, guys, when you are a landowner, your land is going to generate elements. It's going to generate fuel types. Depending upon which land you have will determine what resources you do create. But the good thing about this land sale is that they say that it's going to begin having utility right away. It's going to have a city building style game that you don't have to play all day long. A little bit of minor playing, and then every day you're going to have to come and claim your rewards. And I believe it's going to start generating that utility very soon after the mint, so it's not going to be like some of these games which have sold NFTs and the game is very far off and they're not doing anything for you while you hold them. Alright guys, this is a really, really big deal. I don't think it can be understated because Illuvium is... I don't know if there is a blue chip right now in this bear market. Anything could fail. But Illuvium has an incredible chance at being that breakthrough blockbuster success that onboards regular gamers and turns Play and Earn into a mainstream household name. If you're able to get in early on these land sales, if, let's just say, the FOMO's not crazy, and as a buyer, the best case scenario for you occurs, and that is the Dutch auction begins, and perhaps there's not a lot of sales right out of the gate, and as time goes on, people just expect that the price is going to keep going lower and lower, but eventually it'll get so low, people will start buying, and then people will start seeing the number left going down, and then the FOMO will start. So you just have to be patient and hopefully you can get yourself one of these lands, because it's going to entitle you to all these resources, other perks. As the Illuvium gaming family grows, they're saying that the land here from Illuvium 0 is going to be the land that fuels all future games as well. There's really a lot of cool things that go into being a landowner. All right, guys, I hope this video was helpful. Remember, Illuvium land minting on June the 2nd. Very soon, not very far away. If you haven't done it already, please subscribe, tap that bell. We'll catch you on the next one.